He's talking about overall in life. You know, I made some wrong choices personally, and I got owned up to him. I made some, not great choices.
He's saying that because he's a thunderbolt person.
I learned
from the real people.
I learned.
It's not. He don't be doing that.
I learned.
This is a young kid being a young kid.
First off, the main thing that he needs to understand, number one, this is a lesson. He's not the first person to get a speeding ticket. It's not that big of a deal. Number one, get your butt in the house at a good time, right? Because it's lessons. Number two, Mama used to tell me a lot of stuff, but Grandma taught me a lot too.
Okay, what Grandma say?
And Grandma always used to tell me once I started making plays and all that in college, she said, grandson, it's a lot of people want to see you lose. Don't give them any opportunity to see you lose.
Shedeur Sanders has finally broken his silence about the recent speeding ticket that had everyone talking. In a calm and grounded statement, he acknowledged his mistake. No excuses, no attitude, just accountability. He made it clear that he understands the seriousness of the situation and has learned from it, promising not to repeat the same lapse in judgment again. What stood out the most, though, wasn't just what he said, but how he carried himself. Despite the noise, the criticism, and the attempts to drag his name, Shedeur remained unbothered. His tone, his body language, his composure, it all showed that he's focused on what really matters, and he's not letting outside opinions shake his foundation.
I know I'll be vibing, bro.
He's just a regular kid. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
I'm just a little boy.
You didn't do nothing wrong. I haven't seen anything wrong.
He's talking about overall in life. You know, I made some wrong choices.
Standing beside him was one of his close friends, trying to defend Shedeur by reminding everyone that he's still just a kid and kids make mistakes. He emphasized that people are too quick to judge and that this one incident doesn't define who Shedeur is. In his view, there was nothing truly wrong in what happened, just a minor slip-up blown out of proportion. But Shedeur didn't hide behind those words. He calmly stepped up and admitted that he has made some wrong choices in life, and this was one of them. No deflection, no sugarcoating. He made it clear that owning up is part of growing up, and now that he's recognized the misstep, he's focused on doing better. On the other hand, those who've never liked Shedeur Sanders were quick to jump on the moment, lashing out with harsh criticism that went far beyond the situation itself. To them, this wasn't just a speeding ticket. It was an opportunity to question his character, his discipline, and even his spot on the first team. They painted it as something almost unforgivable, acting as if a single mistake somehow defined his entire trajectory. Among the loudest and most aggressive voices was Rich Eisen. On his show, Eisen didn't hold back, calling Shedeur out directly and saying, anything other than training or practicing right now is going to go against him.
Whether it's on air and 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, anything that takes the conversation away from football is bad for him.
Mary Kay Cabot, a longtime critic of Shedeur Sanders, came crashing down on him the moment the incident surfaced. Known for rarely acknowledging his impressive on-field performances, Cabot didn't waste a second to highlight his off-field misstep. Rather than offering any perspective or balance, she seized the moment to reinforce her narrative against Shedeur. She went a step further by pointing out the timing of the incident, 12:45 a.m., raising questions about what Shedeur was doing out that late during such a critical period in his development. In her usual fashion, Cabot implied that behavior like this could jeopardize his place on the roster, especially now with competition intensifying and coaching staff demanding accountability both on and off the field. Her comments didn't come from a place of concern. They echoed a pattern, one where every small slip is used as fuel to discredit the bigger picture of who Shedeur Sanders is becoming.
Speeding is one thing, but going 40 miles an hour over the speed limit, actually 41 miles an hour over the speed limit at 12:30 in the morning, when you're in the middle of a four-way quarterback competition.
But to expose the real agenda behind all the noise, LaShawn McCoy jumped into the mix and didn't hold back. He argued that the people criticizing Shedeur Sanders are not genuinely concerned about leadership or discipline. They're simply shaping the narrative to fit their bias. According to McCoy, this speeding ticket has become a tool, not because it reveals something deep about Shedeur's character, but because it's convenient for those who've already made up their minds about him. McCoy shifted the conversation to a deeper issue, one that cuts beyond this single incident. He pointed out a growing pattern. Whenever critics fail to attack Shedeur's performance on the field, they pivot to his life off the field. It's no longer about stats, wins, or potential. It's about twisting personal moments into professional indictments. This is how they'll shape the narrative, McCoy said. They'll say things like, "He can't lead a team with this kind of attitude," because they know they can't say anything about the way he plays.
We're going to find a way to make this about football, right? And instead of talking how good he's playing in OTAs, how he's playing so well that as a fifth rounder, we talk about, hey, let's split some of these reps up with the ones. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that. Oh, he's immature. How can he lead a team if he's driving? They're going to find a way to make an excuse for Shedeur, and I hate that. But other than that, this is a young kid being a young kid.
Emmanuel Acho also backed LeSean McCoy's stance, making it clear that while Shedeur Sanders made a mistake, the reaction to it has been far too extreme. On his show, Acho acknowledged that speeding at 100 miles per hour isn't something to brush off. It's dangerous and certainly not a smart move, especially for a young athlete under the spotlight. But at the same time, he pushed back against the wave of criticism that tried to turn this into something bigger than it is. Acho also reflected on his own experiences, noting that when he was Shedeur's age, he made his fair share of questionable decisions too, just like most 22-year-olds. He used that perspective to highlight a larger issue, the unrealistic expectations placed on young athletes. Acho emphasized that just because someone steps into the professional spotlight doesn't mean they suddenly become immune to human error. He pushed back against the idea that these players should be flawless simply because they wear a jersey or sign a contract. For Acho, signing a 22-year-old like Shedeur means accepting the full package, not just the talent and highlights, but also the learning curve that comes with youth. He argued that teams draft young players for their talent, athleticism, and ability to perform under pressure. And yes, Shedeur checks all those boxes. But maturity, emotional growth, and learning from mistakes, that's a process, and this moment is part of it.
Now, you also sign up for the athleticism. You sign up for the fact that they probably won't get hurt as often. You sign up for they don't have to stretch or sit in the sauna before they go out to practice. They can just get up and go. You sign up for that spry youth as well, but that's why they say, youth is wasted on the young.
James Jones reacted to Shedeur Sanders' situation with a more personal and reflective tone. While he agreed that making a mistake like this isn't the end of the world, he brought a different kind of wisdom to the table, one rooted in life experience. Drawing from something his grandmother used to tell him, Jones explained that when you rise in the spotlight for doing good, there will always be people waiting to see you fall. That's just how the world works. He pointed out that up until now, Shedeur has handled the media with poise and has been nearly flawless in how he presents himself. But that level of visibility comes with pressure. According to Jones, incidents like this, even if minor, can be all the ammo some people need to start tearing someone down. His message wasn't about condemning Shedeur, it was more of a caution. Jones made it clear that moving forward, Shedeur has to stay disciplined, not just for the sake of his own growth, but because there are always people looking for reasons to question someone who's been doing everything right. And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders did. He followed the very path James Jones spoke about. He didn't run from the mistake or try to deflect blame. Instead, he accepted it head-on with maturity and clarity. Shedeur acknowledged the error, took responsibility, and made it clear that he plans to learn from it and move forward. He didn't wait for the narrative to spiral or for someone else to clean it up. He addressed it himself, early and honestly. In the end, Shedeur Sanders proved exactly why he's built for the spotlight, not just because of his talent, but because of his character. While critics rushed to question his discipline and leadership over a single mistake, Shedeur chose to face the situation with maturity and responsibility and elite performance. Are critics being fair, or are they simply waiting for a moment to pounce? And more importantly, do we hold rising stars to impossibly high standards just because they're in the spotlight? Is it time we allow space for growth, or are we too quick to label and tear down? Let us know what you think.